Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Why Jack Wagner almost didn't take Melrose Place role after General Hospital. When Jack Wagner joined General Hospital as Frisco Jones, his career changed. It was more than his character. He could act, he could sing, and he was very popular. However, after hundreds of episodes on the daytime soap, he recently admitted that he was hesitant to audition for the nighttime soap Melrose Place. This is what the Wing calls the Heart star had to say about this major decision. When Jack Wagner recently was on the Still the Place podcast talking to hosts Courtney Thorne-Smith, Daphne Zuniga, and Laura Leighton about Melrose Place, he made a shocking confession. Wagner almost didn't audition for the series. He didn't because he feared he would be typecast and pigeonholed. Jack almost didn't play Dr. Peter Burns. Wagner recalled when he first heard of the role. He was asked to audition. Jack revealed that he was not having it. He remembered saying at the time, "No chance. I'm not doing it. It feels like a soap." Obviously, they were interested in having Wagner join the series in season 3. Therefore, it took some convincing, and he recalled that there were a couple of reasons why he agreed to audition. Then they said, "Well, it's a hot show, and you'd be working opposite Heather Locklear." And so I'm like, okay, all right. At that time, Heather Locklear was one of the biggest stars on television, having starred in Dynasty. Her Melrose Place role as Amanda Woodward helped propel the series to the top. Therefore, playing opposite to her was a good career move for Wagner. While Jack Wagner was hesitant about auditioning for Melrose Place, this situation was bigger than working on another soap. He wanted to be taken seriously. He wanted to be respected as an actor and as a musician. He explained, "I was really pigeonholed from General Hospital and having a #1 record and never really being taken seriously as a musical artist, etc." He continued, "I'm a thespian, okay? I'm from drama school and classic theater and Stella Adler." Wagner went to Stella Adler, considered one of the finest acting schools. But he contended it was huge for him to go from the 2 daytime soaps, General Hospital and Santa Barbara, that he starred in, to an evening soap. He called it a big jump. This also allowed him to talk about his spaghetti days. Before he got his role as Frisco Jones, Jack was living in his car. However, after he moved to Los Angeles, his 5th audition was for General Hospital. He got the role, and not long after, he was offered a recording contract. Jack Wagner fans, do you enjoy his role as Dr. Peter Burns on Melrose Place, playing opposite Heather Locklear? Jack Wagner has always been a name synonymous with charisma, musicality, and the kind of leading man presence that keeps audiences glued to their screens. By the early 1990s, he had already built an enviable career playing Frisco Jones on General Hospital, a role that skyrocketed him into daytime television royalty. Frisco, with his leather jackets, rock star swagger, and unforgettable love story with Felicia, wasn't just a character, he was an era. Fans adored him, and Jack Wagner adored the creative outlet the show gave him. So when the opportunity for Melrose Place came knocking, it wasn't the slam-dunk decision that everyone might think it was. In fact, Wagner almost turned it down. A comfortable place in daytime. After years on General Hospital, Wagner had carved out a career many actors dream of. He was beloved, financially secure, and most importantly, creatively satisfied. "I felt like I had everything I needed in daytime," Wagner would later reflect in interviews. "I had music, acting, and a loyal fan base that had been with me from the beginning." But with comfort comes hesitation. Jumping from daytime soap to primetime drama wasn't just a change of scenery, it was a risk. Daytime audiences were loyal, while primetime had an entirely different audience, one with more fickle viewing habits and less patience for melodrama. For Wagner, the thought of leaving something stable for an uncertain future gnawed at him. The role of Dr. Peter Burns. The role on Melrose Place, that of Dr. Peter Burns, was pitched as complex, charming, and morally gray, a far cry from Frisco's heroic energy. Peter Burns wasn't a hero or villain exactly, He was that complicated middle ground, and producers wanted Wagner to bring a layer of charisma to the role that could make even Peter's worst decisions feel understandable. But therein lay the problem. Wagner wasn't sure he wanted to play complicated. After all, he had spent years perfecting Frisco's mix of heroism and romantic charm. The question lingered in his mind. Would fans accept him as someone new? And worse, what if he failed? I knew people had me in their minds as Frisco, Wagner once admitted. I didn't want to disappoint them or have them think, oh, that's not the guy we loved anymore. The pressure of the Melrose Place machine. Melrose Place was already a cultural phenomenon when Wagner was approached. With Heather Locklear's Amanda Woodward cementing the show's rating success and its unapologetic mix of romance, betrayal, and shocking plot twists, joining the cast meant stepping into an already blazing fire. For Wagner, it was intimidating. It was like being asked to jump on a speeding train, he said. The cast already had their rhythm, and they had this wild, sexy brand that wasn't necessarily what I had been doing on General Hospital. Adding to the pressure, there were whispers that Peter Burns would become a central character, one that could either help extend the show's popularity or tank his career. It's one thing to guest star, it's another to come in as a series regular, and know you might have storylines people will hate you for, he joked. The call that changed his mind. Wagner was ready to politely decline. He had rehearsed the speech in his head. But then came a call from Aaron Spelling, the legendary producer behind Melrose Place. Spelling's pitch was simple. I need a leading man who's going to surprise people, Jack. I don't want Frisco. I want something nobody expects. That line stuck with Wagner. The opportunity wasn't just to act, it was to reinvent himself, to challenge the very idea of who he was as a performer. After sleeping on it, Wagner decided to take the plunge. It scared me, and that's why I said yes, he would later reveal. A career-defining move. Once Wagner stepped into Dr. Peter Burns' shoes, he realized how liberating it was to break away from his daytime persona. Peter was cunning, sometimes ruthless, and constantly involved in romantic and professional entanglements. It was like playing a game of chess, Wagner said of the role. Every scene, Peter was thinking 3 steps ahead, which was a fun challenge. The audience responded. Fans who once only knew him as Frisco embraced the new, edgier version of Wagner. His chemistry with Heather Locklear lit up the screen, and suddenly he wasn't just a daytime star making the leap, he was a bona fide primetime player. Looking back, Wagner admits that his fear of being typecast almost cost him one of the most rewarding chapters of his career. If I'd let fear guide me, I would have stayed in my comfort zone, he explained. Instead, I took the risk, and it changed everything.